Yeah, we're live. There we go. Hello, everybody out there. I know you're watching. I can hear you scrambling about. No, I can't hear anybody, but it is Thursday morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Which means that we are back at you again, Randy and I, this morning. After having last night off, was great.
Yeah.
Having last night off was great. We got a chance to sit back and do nothing and let the indie princess Daphne and Meredith take it. I got to lay down and try to relax. You hear the call sign of Dreaded Dinosaur. That's his personal roar. You heard it in the background.
I hit the mute button on my stream deck, but I forgot that the camera is now hooked up to my laptop. So, I have this thing when Eric and I would do conventions together. I would never set my alarm. I don't have to, because when Eric wakes up, he coughs, and he coughs a lot, and that's gonna wake me up. So it's cool because what happens is that he can't get any sleep because I snore. And Eric says it's something like rocks in a blender. Yep.
But it sounds like me snoring, so it's pretty bad. But greetings, everybody. Thanks for being here with us this morning. I see some people people are watching right now, and IndieVote Radio numbers are tabulating right now. Thank you for joining us around the world on IndieVote Radio. We want to get into today's show, our Breakfast Buzz show. We got Karen Nicole, the creator of Fire Bitch. I can say bitch early in the morning. This is great. I can say she's joining us, as well as Lisa Malone, who she does Malone Management, Randy, which helps people with their crowdfunding.
Oh, cool.
Campaigns, how they set crowdfunding campaigns up, and graphics, all that good stuff. And it wasn't until I tried to help somebody with that I realized I should really get paid for this. So Lisa's figured that out way before me. She's much smarter than I am. We'll talk to her about that too. So yeah, Imperian Vote in the chat says, good morning, indie voters. Good morning, Imperian. Randy, I think that's it for me. Should we roll the intro?
Yeah, we can roll the intro. Let me roll to it. Here we go. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Hang on, everybody. See you on the other side.
Hello, everybody out there. Welcome.
There we are.
Welcome to IndieVote Breakfast Buzz. I'm your host, the founder of IndieVote. Founder of IndieVote Media. I started making comics back in 2008. First comic I ever created was a black and white interior action comedy that I haven't done many black and white books since then. Well, all my books have been colored. My father, a husband, a geek, reluctant taxpayer, comic book artist, comic book writer, publisher, all that good stuff. And this is where it's all brought me here. This is as far as I got.
To this point in time.
Yeah. Joined by Randy Zimm. How are you this morning, sir?
I am still trying to wake up, actually. It's all good. Hey, everybody. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I'm an alternative and independent comics producer, creator. I've done everything in the comic market that you can imagine, and then some. Right now, I'm an award-winning commercial and graphic artist whose main specialty is sequential art for advertising and educational purposes. I'm also working on a crowdfunding book, and I have the Zimm Geek channel here on YouTube, ZIMMGEEK, where I teach cartoon instructionals, and we talk about the comic biz in little short video clips. Plus, I'm part of the IndieVote network, and happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. It's I've talked about it before on the show, but it's always weird when my son he'll start watching through Treehouse Masters with his mother, and they come across your episode again, and I'm like, I watch my son become enamored with another artist. Every other artist enamored with him. Dad plays at his table sometimes. Dreaded Dinosaur.
yes, hello everyone. My name is Eric Hodson. I'm at Dreaded Dinosaur. Happy to be, I'm awake. And I'm here.
We do.
Yeah, I gotta get the coffee pot rolling on my own end here.
Yeah, you know, when you wake up pretty early. You're someone that I can text, and I notice that either it'll be 2 a.m. you'll respond, or I can text you in the morning. And I've always wondered, like, does Eric have a normal sleep schedule? Because I've seen
No, I do not have a normal sleep schedule. Basically, what happened? My normal sleep schedule: get to bed by about 11:30, maybe get to sleep by midnight because it takes me a while to fall asleep. Then my wife's cat starts demanding treats at probably about 3:30 in the morning.
It's not your cat. It's not your family cat. It's your wife's cat.
This cat acts exactly like my wife. He's
okay.
They're the same type of personality. So she won't shut up unless she gets her treats. And so
your wife or the cat?
Yeah, the cat.
Probably both.
The cat. So my wife keeps a treat bag under her pillow or right next to her. It's like an automatic response now, muscle memory. Just here, shut up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so once that happens, I'm technically awake at that point.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of get it, and if I don't get up once that happens, I'm not fresh in the morning. So I'll be groggy in the morning if I try to go back to sleep again. Now, those times where I've been up at 2, those are for unfortunate circumstances due to my illness.
Yeah. See, I don't know, man. My dogs, just like my son, have figured out the look. They tried that cute shit with me before at the door, and I come out, I look at them like this, and they know, oh, my life is in danger. I'm gonna go over here and.
Well, Aiko is 15 years old. She has trouble keeping weight because she doesn't like to eat. Like, she'll eat in stages throughout the day, whereas my cat Louise is a chonk, and she's going for next level chonk. So we have to shut her out of the bedroom so Aiko can eat at her own pace throughout the day.
Yeah.
By about 4 o'clock is usually when Aiko gives up on her moist food, and I give the remnants to my cat. And sure enough, about 3:30, 4 o'clock, my cat will just start whining like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the noises she makes sounds like the child from Mandalorian. It's just adorable.
You got to get rid of them. You got to get rid of them. You got to get rid of cats. Make it dogs.
Dogs are filthy. They make the house smell. My parents have dogs. It's filthy.
If you don't like guests, no one knows. Karen Nicole. Yeah, Karen Nicole has dogs, correct? Yeah, she's a dog person. See,
I'm not a dog person. I don't like dogs. I don't like dogs. I don't like cats. I don't like creatures right now. I have my cat over there. Like, it's still dark 30 here, and you know, the cats are still up. So the cats get up at nighttime and they go do their cat things. And you wake up and, you know, a bird exploded in the yard and all kinds of weird shit's going on. And I don't know what they're doing. The dogs, it's like, I have 2 small dogs, okay? They will bark at all these things. And it's like, you're not going to do anything. Yeah. You know, like, what if one of these dogs were to come after you? Are you seriously going to, like, throw down with that pit bull over there? Like, you're a sock. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I know what you mean. Dogs are. My mother had a Shih Tzu, and one night he was just tearing at the back door. He wanted out the house. I opened the door, and there's a raccoon up at the door. That's how I got this hat. And he's trying to get into the house, and this little Shih Tzu is trying to get at it. And I'm like, hey, that's a raccoon. He will end you. And dog wouldn't listen, but we didn't let him out anyway. Kara, could you tell everybody who you are and what you do?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I can. If you want. So my name is Kara Nicole, and I am a cosplayer and a comic book creator and a comic book colorist, stand-up comedian, and a singer, and basically a jackass of all trades.
Nice. All you have to do is drop a rap CD now.
Okay, so the song that just got released last night to backers is our 3rd single from the Fire Bitch soundtrack, and there is a rap part in there. There's actually 2 rap parts. One is done by me, and one is done by someone else.
No, see,
Yeah, that is in there.
Nice.
See, I could I think when people rap, and the wife has told me, "Oh, you should rap. You're really good." So I'm really good at making fun of people. I'm really good at rapping insults to our son. But that's as far as it goes. If I'm not insulting people, then I'm no good. I mean, Emma's made a career off of that, so maybe I should give it a try. Lisa from Malone Management. Lisa Malone, hello. How are you this morning?
I am doing well. I've already had a full pot of coffee, so I think I'm way ahead of most of you.
Sure you are.
I am from Malone Management. I help independent creators with their crowdfunding projects on both Kickstarter and Indiegogo. What I do is basically consult with you about your campaigns. I can build out your campaign, manage it, create graphics for it, help you create tiers. I also do talent and management and networking for other people. I help Kara out with a lot of projects that she has going on with booking interviews. I do public relations. I'm just a jack of all trades when it comes to getting crowdfunding and Kickstarters out there to other people. So I'm really looking forward to working with independent creators and helping them create their visions and make their dreams come true.
Oh, you say that.
Now that is the one thing I have not done in this market yet is do a crowdfunding campaign.
Okay.
So what is the biggest crowdfunding campaign you've done so far?
Well,
or been involved with, I should say.
I mean, I work with Kara on some of her stuff with graphics and doing promotions and stuff, but I was heavily involved with the Sapphire Spectre, and that was his first issue that he put out, and I managed his campaign on the back end. He did a lot of the build out, but I got involved after he kind of blew up, and he ended up with 14K, which was a lot more than he was expecting.
Cool. It's kind of like my same can be said about my tax bill. Ended up being 14K, a lot more than I was expecting.
Are your deductions correct?
You know what's funny is that my first publishing company, apparently I didn't check a box, and they thought I was a brick and mortar store. So they charged me accordingly for 8 years.
Oh, good Lord.
And when I got that bill, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And, but it's funny, it was 2 pieces of paper to clear it all up.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
3 pieces of paper to clear it all up and say, hey, I don't owe you this. And I imagine someone at the IRS was pretty pissed at me. Probably called me or types of names. Like, well, the good thing is, and what saved me too, is that they had me listed as a brick and mortar store, so they charged me as a brick and mortar store. I'm like, no. My office at the time was my home. Go look. It's not zoned for business. It's not. I wasn't running a store out of my home. You know, I know drug dealers can do that. I can't. And so they let it all go. They forgave every bit of it, and that was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice to see that fall off. But it was up there. Whew, it was scary. Randy, we had Kara on
Geekgasm last night. Yes.
Yeah, and we talked to her about being a cosplayer, and she gave some helpful tips. And I wish we would have had her on sooner, back before when we were having a lot of cosplayer debates on. And Kara, I want to run a question past you out of my memory. I couldn't find it because I've deleted the question since. But one of the questions from a cosplayer, she was very upset. She wrote to us. She said that she felt, and I'm just going to paraphrase what she said. She felt that cosplayers were the heartbeat of the convention center, or comic book conventions. But, and she says, and they should be paid for what they do. But then it became painfully obvious that she's not a cosplayer that goes to the shows and gets a table, whether she purchases it or is given one by the promoter. She's a person that buys a ticket, she dresses up, she comes to the shows, and she feels that if you ask her for a picture with her, you should be willing to pay and or tip. And while on the surface, I don't think anybody in the panel at that point had a problem with tipping if they could. She said it should be mandatory, the tip, because the performers in Times Square and in is it Venice Beach, they require payment to get pictures with them done, and I think in Hollywood, and so that made some people on the panel a little upset. Like, well, I'm not paying you. You're an attendee. You're walking around the show. How do you feel about that? Would you be upset with someone if you saw? And does that hurt like the cosplayers who have tables that have put money in the product, and now you got somebody coming through the door, as an attendee, asking fans for money for pictures?
So rather than answer that question directly, I'm going to tell you, I was in San something up in California, one of those places. Anyway, I was at a convention, and this man with an armful of gift bags is walking through the convention. And he hands me a bag, and he says, "This is for you." And I hold it, and I'm like, I'm thinking, what's the catch? And then he proceeds to open it up and show me these like makeup things and whatever. And he says, "And if you buy this one thing, this gift bag is free." Well, first of all, you just handed it to me and said it's for me. Now you're going to turn around and say that I have to buy something to get this from you. You did not purchase a table. You did not file your taxes with the venue or the state or the city or anything in regards to this. You are standing in front of my table where I am trying to conduct business that I am properly allocated to this location to make my money from this event. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, that person would need to be removed immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the conventions frown heavily upon people who just buy a ticket and go around trying to make money.
Yeah.
It cuts in on the convention people's money. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you are now, I was one of the very first cosplayers to purchase my own table and sell my own product. I'm not opposed to tip jars at the table. I have them. They are not required. But if you want to charge for photos, you need to have an allocated spot for that, because you're going to be taking photos in front of someone else's table or booth that they paid for, and now you're blocking their traffic. They have to pay taxes on that. They're losing money when you're standing in front of their table taking pictures with other people, and you are not in the position to be making money from this situation. If you want to get tips, if you want to make money, buy a table.
I agree with that. I'm okay with that. That's buy a table, come support the rest of us. We've had I was at a convention with Randy, and there's a guy walking through the show. He's an artist. He doesn't have a table. Well, he does have a table, but he doesn't have a table at the convention. And what he does have is he has a portable table and a stool on his back in a backpack, and he has a sign on the front and back of him: free sketches of cosplayers, or or ask for a free sketch. And he's walking around the con doing free sketches with people. And I'm like, if you don't get your ass out of here immediately, and they didn't stop him. They didn't stop him, unfortunately. I think someone did go complain to the promoter of the show, like, hey, this guy's walking around Artist Alley with a. And he would stop in front of a booth, pop out his little mini table, his little stool, and do these. And they weren't quick sketches. They were like, 10, 15-minute sketches. So that's 10 to 15 minutes of someone being at your booth.
Traffic jam.
Yeah.
And what happens is all the people who are in that aisle are going to see that, like, I don't want to walk by that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What's he doing? Oh my gosh. So you got your book, you got Fire Bitch, and You told a little bit about it last night, but we do technically have different audiences right now in Indie Vote Radio. Already this morning at 41,011 listening. Want to thank, let's see who we got this morning. We got Ireland and Australia this morning. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Ireland always seems to come through.
Yeah. Ireland's up there now, and for some reason this week has had a problem tabulating, showing me the third highest country. But, I'll see if I can get that pretty soon.
We appreciate all of you out there anyway, no matter where you're listening from. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
I would try a nice Irish greeting, but I would come across as tone deaf.
Don't.
So yeah. And tone deaf and probably insult the whole everybody. So Kara, could you tell us a little bit about Fire Bitch?
So Fire Bitch is the story of an average, ordinary social media influencer who gets sucked into a vortex and tossed across the universe onto an alien planet and gaining superpowers. Now, this alien planet is under attack by a neighboring alien race, and they need to convince her to use her abilities to save their people.
And so it's now, what I have you had anybody who has come to you lately and said, well, why'd you have to call her Fire Bitch? Couldn't she be Fire Girl or Fire Lady?
See how stupid that sounds? That's why. That's exactly why. No, I had one person on YouTube say that's a stupid name. Like, okay,
I like it.
$1,000 campaign.
Yeah, I like it. You're pretty high up there. I mean, you've done really well for yourself. At 37 hours left to go, she's over on Kickstarter with this campaign, and I'm gonna play the video. Let me see here. Give me 1 second.
Is it hot in here, or is it just me? Hello, Kara Nicole here, cosplaying my character, the super sassy, super sexy Fire Bitch, the comic book heroine of the decade. Quick recap. Created by me and Alfred Trujillo, Fire Bitch is an original comic about a social media diva with some firepower. We write, illustrate, produce, and ship it out. Now, I am thrilled to bring you issue 2. The first was an amazing success with over 2,000 books shipped out. Now, I am so excited to bring you continuation. Within the pages of this book, you will learn how a sexy, unlikely superhero deals with her new powers and being stranded far from home in the middle of an annihilation. If you missed the first, fear not. We have a couple of ways to help you out in this campaign. With issue 2, I am proud to bring you some of the artists that you already know and love, as well as bring you some new ones you're gonna want to follow. I've brought you some of the most alluring artwork, coolest swipes, and firepower you're gonna want to add to your collection. Don't miss out on the jeweled cover, holofoil options, and black linen covers. And let me tell you, I am bringing it with the cosplay! I wanted to be sure that I bring you the Kara flavor you love. Some of my most exciting cosplay covers and prints will be available in this campaign. I recommend you get them all. You'll want to get your friends in on this and help us achieve some of the most amazing stretch goals. Fan favorites like collector's cards, stickers, and mini prints, plus an exclusive LP by me and Alfred Trujillo. Make sure you share the campaign and help us grow. And don't forget to join my Patreon and follow us on social media.
I always try to get oops, I took it off the page. Okay, I'll put it back. I always try to get everything in the video in there because someone once got mad at me. They said, you didn't share my friend's company at the end who made the video. He's really upset. So I had to make sure, and I'll play the whole video now. I like that. Now, you've probably seen that video hundreds of times now.
Yeah, I think so.
And we had another creator on, Ines, who does Ava, and she hated watching her own video. And we would watch her. Then, like when the video would come on, she'd even though, and we thought it was a great video, she would just this again. But you were full of energy and everything. You seem like you had a good time doing that. Was it one take or
No.
no?
No, we usually do multiple takes, and then the first one ends up being used. It's one of those things that's like really super annoying. It's like, let's do it again, and I'm like, no, I don't want it.
I always usually try to do three takes of each line. You just take the best of three. That way you're not spending all day doing something. You just do 3 takes. Boom.
See, you know what, Eric? I like that. I like that idea. But unfortunately, my parents got me into modeling and acting as a kid, and I was on those sets, and I'm like, how many damn times am I going to walk around this corner? Like at some point, I don't
think I've heard any of those stories.
Oh man, we did this Mired commercial, and if anyone who doesn't know what Mired is, here in it's a Midwest thing. It's like a Walmart.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a Walmart, but it's a Midwest store. And they were running a campaign called Mired Toy City for Christmas, and I was in the commercial, and they dressed us up. Dick Tracy was big. The movie had just come out, and everyone was kind of aping that style. So we had these beautiful colored coats and hats, and I'm telling you right now, we walked around this damn set, this corner, where they kept blowing this fake snow on us at least 70 times. In my mind, I'm wondering, how many times am I going to have to do this scene over? Am I not walking right? Should I switch? What am I doing incorrectly? And it was me and like 5 other kids. So it's like, that are in front of the camera. Like, what aren't we doing? Who's not hitting their mark? And now as I get older, I realize maybe the director was just a perv or something and just like doing it. I don't know. But we just had to.
Very well may be the case. With
we just kept walking around the corner. But I'll tell you guys a funny story from that. That particular commercial. I've done a lot of them, but that commercial was weird because when they had kids, and we had maybe like 16 or so kids in that were from the agency, that had the models, and they pulled us in and they got us all dressed, and then they fed us. And we're in this big, huge office building. We see these 2 school buses pull up, and these kids get off the school bus, and we're like, hey, kids to play with. This is awesome. Cause we're like, we've been there since like 6 a.m. and we're like, oh, we're like the orphanage kids. Look, new friends to play with. Well, these kids were from a local school, and they had got told to come in and do this commercial. Their parents had signed off, and they were all background kids. But unfortunately, what we found out and we discovered is that, they had to give us frequent breaks and feed us and all this other good stuff. Those kids, they didn't have to do that with. So at 5:00 p.m., when they said, okay, child labor laws, you guys got to go, they looked at these school kids and says, however, there is no such laws for you. and they got to do a lot of the extra background work. So, I was like, later losers, I'm out of here. But they kept us separated too. So I forgot I forgot that actually happened until recently, a couple of weeks ago. I was telling my wife about it. And but yeah, it's, oh man, don't get me started on modeling stories. That can go forever. But what we want to talk about is Fire Bitch. And you now, 51,000. Kara, that's impressive. That's impressive. The first campaign, where'd you land at?
I think we were at 42 from the Kickstarter, and after CrowdOx and everything, we were at like 66.
Ooh, cool. Growth. I'm talking about. 37 hours left. This ends Friday night.
This ends Friday night. Yes.
Has it been long? Are you ready for it to be over?
I don't know, because once it's over, then the real work starts. It's a process. You've got your promotion and trying to get it out there, and then you've got putting the book together, all the finishing up of the coloring and the art and the edits and all those things, and the shipping Shipping.
She needs labor, slaves.
Labor.
Shipping slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you learn fulfilling your first book that you're changing and doing differently for the second one?
Well, I've been doing other books before the comics. I was doing my my cosplay photo books, and I was doing my my calendars and all of that. And I would say that I learned a lot about shipping. Like a flat mailer is going to cost you as much as a box. I learned that you can have pretty much anything custom made. You can have boxes custom made, and if you spend at least $100, they'll oftentimes ship it to you for free. So that's good. Geminis. A lot of comic book creators want to cheap out and throw it in a bubble wrap bag. I will say never, ever, ever ship any art or comics or anything in a bubble wrappy bag, because they will bend it. They will absolutely. If you give them a package that is bendable, they will bend it. At least attempt to put it in a flat surface box situation, So yeah, those kinds of things. Pick lists, making sure everything is organized. Put your tracking numbers into your spreadsheets, into your CrowdOx, as well as your other things. Pirate Ship. I love Pirate Ship. Originally, I was looking at some of the other places, but when you're dealing with shipping, why am I going to pay you $15 a month to use your service when I can use Pirate Ship for free? And they're going to give me the same rates, if not better rates. So just do things like that. Gemini mailers. I love Gemini mailers. Don't send media mail. Do not use media mail. It's tacky. It's cheap. Charge appropriately for shipping. Do not use media mail. And it used to be, well, comics don't count because they have ads in them. Well, my comic book doesn't have an ad in it. You put a business card in there, it's now an ad. However, they specifically said no comic books for media mail. They can't open your stuff.
Yeah. And I know I am guilty of sending out some books media mail. However, I don't go to this post office with a bunch of them. I'll take one or two. Here you go, and they're fine with that. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that'll go. The minute you show up, though, with a stack or a damn pallet full of books, you best believe they're gonna look through those. So yeah, you're right. It's best just to go ahead and pay that extra shipping and get the book. I've seen people have Gemini quality mailers, and not necessarily Gemini mailers, but they are hard cardboard rigid mailers, and those are okay too. But I'm a bit of a brand whore, and so I'm like, I gotta have that Gemini logo on there, man. If it's not there, it's no good.
I like Gemini because they're also a family business, so I see them as like one of us. They're creating comic books. I mean, they don't have a whole bunch of different boxes. It is specifically for comic books.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah. Good.
However, when you said family, I also thought when Randy says family. He means it means connected.
Family that wants to taste. Family.
Yeah. They want to taste.
They want a piece of the action.
Yeah. Right now, my wife is upset with all of it. She said those are the most tackiest Italian actions. We're sorry, Lola. I'm sorry.
It's okay because I made spaghetti for my wife's lunches a couple of days ago, so I'm almost Italian now.
Yeah, I had never heard. In movies and TV shows, sure, but I had never heard in real life an actual like thick Italian accent. I went to one of my wife's family's funerals, and in her family they have them weekly, and but
it's a large family though.
Yeah, it's to the point where I never thought I would hear a guy in the corner in a black suit sitting there, fat. Come here for a second. Let me talk to you. You're married to Krista? Yeah, it's fucking kid. You're like, oh no, you come here, sit down. Let me talk to you for a second. Sit down. It's scary. it scares you out, and then I'm like, I've had to ask her a few times, like, listen, I need to know, is anybody in your family connected? And she won't tell me, so I guess I'll find out when it's too late. Randy,
Sir.
You've been putting out books for quite a while,
Long time,
and I know I asked her about the name Fire Bitch, but if you now I remember someone else had a character and they had bitch in the title. I can't remember who it was.
Christy Shin has a comic series called Demon Bitch.
Well, yeah, no, but this is years ago. I'm about like somebody said, and they got so much shit for it, they had to actually change the name. But the problem difference was this was a guy who was creating a female character called bitch, and I wonder if there's a difference because Kara's a female, and it's like, well, no one can tell her.
No, I think you've seen a hardcore change in the vernacular too. Netflix right now has a fantastic series about the origin of swear words.
Yeah,
and they spend an entire half hour on bitch and how it started out and the origins and the evolution of the name. And they had a couple of progressive women on there.
It's definitely a good show to watch too. I found it very entertaining.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. Well, the problem with that show though is you start watching one episode, suddenly you're on episode 6, and you're like 3 hours in, and you're going, "Oh, I got to get work done," But the evolution of the word "bitch" it's incredibly fascinating.
But now you have a new vocabulary to use. I mean, it's the same one you've been using, but now you have a better understanding of it at that point. I want to look at these. Look at the tiers here. So there is a. You got the main cover, $15, obviously plus shipping. I know. Did I notice? Are there no PDF options?
Nope.
Bless you. Bless your heart. I love it. I love it. I seem so two-faced when I say that because when people come on, like, oh, cool, you got a PDF. That means people, because we got the listeners who aren't in the States who say it's too expensive to get the book shipped to me. I can't get it shipped. I like a PDF. And I'm like, cool, this person's offering a PDF so you can get it. But I'm also always afraid because I'm thinking that PDF is going to end up on some torrent site and it's going to be free for everybody to get a hold of.
Who knows where? Yeah.
Yeah. So when I don't see PDFs, I'm like, yes, buy the book, you cheap bastards.
Exactly.
She has a CB Zane Army of Darkness cover. And how much shipping on the book? Oh,
shipping is, I want to say $7 or $8. If you scroll down the main one, you can actually see all the images of these instead of the sides, and it tells you everything, like the cost and all that. So that's the new music video. This is right there.
Okay.
So that will be going live at noon for everybody. But if you are a backer, you can get that music video right now.
Is that that Virgin Killer dress?
That's the Virgin Killer sweater, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I remember that dress was big for I remember everyone was buying it, and I forbade my wife. Like, no, we're not buying this. I'm pretty sure she said screw me at one point, and probably did buy it. Just hasn't pulled it out of the closet for me to see. She'll wear it somewhere improper one day.
So this is your main cover. This is the $15 main cover.
Okay.
Isn't that awesome? I love the detail in there.
Yes, it's a great cover.
You know what? Actually, my eye is drawn to the aliens. They're pretty cool, pretty unique looking. Like they, I like the elongated head and the green color there.
So that's Chastity Chase, and she is Fire Bitch, and she's got those are the two main aliens that she interacts with. So the girl, she calls her Taco. So this girl, Fire Bitch, like she doesn't really care who you are. She can't say your name. She's not going to remember it. I'm just going to call you Taco. So that's why she's Taco. And then the other guy is Dummy because she can't say his name and doesn't care what it is. So she just calls him Dummy. And then you've got the big ogre, and he is Ogre, and he is the leader of his people, the Mihos, and he is like their great warrior coming down to take down the fire bitch.
I do like the name of that group. There's plenty of opportunities for jokes there.
Superior art.
That's pretty cool. Now you get to cosplay as this character, and we talked about it a little bit on Geekgasm, where you guys talked about it. Unfortunately, cosplaying as a character, which is very cool. Some people don't know how to separate fantasy from reality.
Yeah. So this is the issue 1 cover. So if you did not get issue 1, you can add that on.
Oh, yeah. That was going to be one of my next questions.
And it's a new cover for the campaign. So if you did get issue 1 and you still want the new cover for issue 1, then you can get that one.
Well, yeah, that means they don't have the entire collection, so they got to come back and get this. Yeah,
Kickstarter special.
The cosplay super pack. Now, tell us about this one.
So you get all that many of my covers that I have, and then you get the three prints: super sexy, super sassy, and super fun. So you're getting the 5 covers and the 3 prints in one bag.
Plus 26 unlocked stretch goals.
Plus the stretch goals.
That's it's a lot of stuff in here. I see.
This is the Red Hot pack. So this is kind of like a piece of everything.
Mm-hmm.
We got Shikari, we've got Sanju, we've got the jeweled cover. We actually have a jeweled cover where it's got Swarovski crystals on the cover as well.
Is that I've seen a couple people do that. Those covers look really cool, but I understand they're really they're not cheap to make.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not cheap at all to make. So
holofoil too. You know how I love my shiny covers, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
we
yeah.
also have some specialty foils as well, so that's really cool.
Here we go.
This is your VIP pack. The VIP pack comes with the Dakimakya body pillowcase. So see, you've got the part where she's got her clothes on for when your mom comes in the room, and then when she leaves, you can turn her back over.
We don't see that a lot in American comics, body pillows, and that's normally a manga anime thing. Eric and I were at a manga convention, anime convention in Kentucky, and the guy, Chuthead was down. They had one they could make there for you. And I'm watching these people come to the table, and
a body pillow.
Yeah, they could stuff it there with the cotton there for you. But then he had a secondary one where he couldn't make it there. You'd have to give him the money, and he'd go home and he'd make it because there was some new type of warming gel he had. You remember that, Eric?
Weird.
I'm like,
I don't remember that, but I'm like, oh.
yeah. And
it would double back the body heat on it, or what?
Yeah, it would double back the body heat, and
that's cool.
And it was very human-esque feeling, and he had a little pouch of it so you could feel it, how it feels in your hand. And I'm like, I went over there and touched it. I'm like, oh, this is.
And the whole pillow was filled with that gel.
Yeah, he could feel the whole pillow with it. There, he didn't bring a pillow fill with it, but he bought a little fabric pack of it. I thought, I'm like, oh, this is bad. This is bad.
Is there a hole in the pillow too? Like,
yeah. It's like, next thing you know, I hate to see what some of those pillows are right now. They're probably the character's faces. If you look, the character's smiling a little less. I guarantee you.
Probably be a big seller here in the Midwest.
Yeah, that. But don't freak out, everybody. Kara's pillow does not contain that special.
And you don't get the whole pillow, you just get the pillowcase because I'm not shipping pillows.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
You can fill it with whatever you want then. You can
whatever you want. Put a body in there.
Those pillowcases will fold right down in there.
Yeah. You could fill it wherever you want then. No, that's horrible. I shouldn't have said that. Now that I said it came. Yeah. We have the flaming lips. Is this another cover?
Yeah, these are all covers. There's a lot. So
there's actually 35 main covers.
Oh God, I don't like hearing that, Lisa. I hate hearing the numbers.
You gave Marvel a run for the money with this one. 35. But someone's got to collect them all, and there'll be people out there trying to get them all. So these cosplay photos. Now, you work with a photographer, but are you, how involved are you in picking which photo goes out?
Oh, we do everything in house.
Okay.
So it's me and Alfred Trujillo, and we go through everything and we choose what we want. So
now, Randy, how many variant covers have you ran on the book?
Do what?
How many variant covers have you run on the book? Yeah.
Do I run on a book?
Yeah.
I haven't ran more than 2. So
we got to step our game up, man.
there we go.
We got to step our game up.
I was going to say the thing I like about this is how she's branded her work, her logo, especially with that angry fireball.
Yeah.
I really like the way that looks. And I see she's got it as a tattoo. The character does on her shoulder.
and it's explained.
Okay.
Quickly, it's explained in issue 1.
But I think that's really genius branding like that. It's a nice, quick icon that's very recognizable that when you see that, you'll think Fire Bitch.
Well, and he's actually a part of the story. So
good.
Yeah,
Cool.
so he actually talks in the story. And one of the things we did, mine is worn out. This was the prototype, but we made pop sockets for the last campaign.
Hang on to say, whoop, sorry.
And everybody got one of these. Mine's wore out.
Oh,
but,
sweet.
You know, but yeah, everyone got a pop socket in the last campaign as a stretch goal.
Fantastic.
And anybody looking over, like, here's the thing, guys, you don't have much time to get over there and get involved in this campaign.
37 hours counting down, folks.
Yeah. It's going to be over in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that cover.
That's
that's the Mariah Carey Christmas album homage.
There we go.
And you know, it's got a little Michael Turner feel to it to me. I don't know. I mean, I know obviously it can't be Michael Turner, but
yeah,
the cute eyes.
Yeah. Oh, that's not what Eric calls him.
Okay.
But he hurts my feelings because of the way I draw characters' eyes, but female characters. But I do like this. I think I'm gonna have to back it and get in there before it closes out. Now you're looking to ship this in May 2021. Man, I got a lot of books coming. It's gonna be a busy May.
Very busy. Absolutely.
Are you looking forward to the fulfillment process?
No.
I am.
Yeah. Now, are you?
The only reason why I am is because I get to visit her.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how long does that take you, Lisa? Is it?
I have no idea. It depends. The last one we did in about a week, but a lot of times people don't fill out their surveys. I got to hunt you down, knock on your door. What's your address? You know.
If you wore the Fire Bitch costume and knocked on their door, they might answer. They might answer a lot quicker, or the police would get involved and they would come ask the person.
That's usually what it is. And,
Yeah. You know this lady outside? She's and get this too. For full effect, you can burn down her house. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, let's do that. I love that idea.
Arson, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem. Arson's fun. Now, Lisa, you do crowdfunding management.
Yes.
And you've been helping Kara with this with Fire Bitch. Now, I don't understand how you don't have temple marks here, because I deal with like other creators with Liberty Distribution, with my distribution company, and them being a comic publisher, and creators can make you want to strangle them sometimes. I think that's fair. Why and I'm sure Kara's lovely. She doesn't. She has everything already taken care of. But when you get a new person that gets on and say, "Hey, I want you to manage my crowdfunding campaign," how do you not strangle them? How do you not?
Well, okay, so I preface everything by telling people that I'm very honest and upfront about what they have going on. And if they aren't interested in what I have to offer when I do my first free initial consult with them, then, they don't move forward. But when I get my contract laid out, it does specify in there they have to follow my campaign, marketing campaign that I lay out in order to be successful. And it is a collaborative effort.
See, I know I would have killed somebody. I would have killed because we don't listen. We're creators. You don't listen. Yeah. Whatever you say, I do what I want. Help! I messed up everything.
So let me put it this way. So Sapphire Spectre, JT Malloy and he lives actually just not too far from me. So I'm actually been working with him to help him get his fulfillment done. And it was very interesting process because I kept checking in with him every day. Did you do this? Did you do that? Oh man, I forgot about that, And creators don't necessarily always see the bigger picture. And that's where I come in. I've got like a checklist of things that need to be done.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to get your sketch covers, drawn before you start working on other stuff and post it. You've got to get your original art packaged up and all this other kind of stuff, pack lists printed out and sorted. It's a lot of work,
And I don't think there are a lot of creators who are prepared for that. And I've worked with a couple people in publishing. Randy's told me horror stories. He didn't have his, I don't think, sometimes he doesn't tell me. He's blocked a lot of it out. But I've had stuff I worked with creators, and it's like, you did exactly what I told you not to do. I had a young guy I was publishing his book, and you guys, you're gonna laugh when you hear it. He said, yeah, man, I really want to do the second issue. I said, okay, that's fine, yeah, because I don't want to go out there with anything not new. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Your book's been out for a year. You, because of his financial situation, you only done 2 conventions in the state. Everywhere we take this book, it's going to be new.
Yeah.
Right.
He was setting this Marvel mindset where you got to put out a book every month. And unfortunately, I know the market sometimes demands that, depending on what you get roped into, but he was in that mindset that he had to have something new on the table. He's like, I don't want to go to this con without nothing, without anything new. And I'm like, you never been to this con. And he, we had it in our contracts. You had to visit cons, you had to go to Comic Cons, and he didn't want to. And I just felt like sometimes people don't think about that.
Yeah.
They need a third-party perspective from somebody that has a bigger picture in mind for them. And they need somebody to kind of ground them, because I'm finding that, they're doing things on their crowdfunding campaigns that they think are going to drive people, like Enter to Wins, which I do not recommend whatsoever. It's just kind of off the hip marketing. I don't know what to do to drive my sales. Some people are setting their goals too high, and they're not able to meet them because they just are unrealistic about, hey, maybe you might have to eat some of this in order to get it off the ground in the beginning, and build a fan base.
I've been lucky that, crowdfunding wasn't there for me when I started making comics, so I've never gone to it. So it's always been like this mystical thing that but it's cool to know that people like you are out there who can uphold our hand through it and set those goals, because I know I'll come in and say, well, hell, I know someone who did 15,000 on the campaign. I'm gonna do 30. I need 30 grand. However, I want to go to a couple questions real quick.
Well, we want to let the chat know we really haven't been ignoring you. We see you over there, and we appreciate you deeply. We've been so involved in talk that we haven't pulled over a lot of the chat this morning.
Comic Black Belt, that's Russ. He says, "Oh, just arrived. Great picture. Hello, Russ." Joe, he says, "Good morning." Cameron says, "Good morning." Kino Subway is there. Good morning.
Morning, Kino.
Glendale, Arizona, in here.
Brian
says, question for Carrie: is Kickstarter more or less difficult during COVID?
I'm going to say it's less difficult because it's really hard to run a campaign when you're traveling.
Yeah.
So usually I do a ton of conventions. So without them, I'm able to be home and be here instead of on a plane or in a car for 12 hours.
Yeah.
Glenn said he has to go. Have a great. Oh, Glenn, I didn't know you were.
Glenn, sorry. Take care.
Rebel Games to get this book. I got Fire Bitch #1.
Yeah.
And then Brian says Varian. That's literally every creator I brought in. And you know what? I always feel bad because Rob has called me a gate kicker. He's like, Varian will kick the gate in, let you get in the comics, and he'll publish you. And I'm like, yeah, that's not, that's not always a good thing.
Yeah.
I've brought in some really, really bad people. And but I will say that the last screw up wasn't so much last person that bit me in the ass wasn't somebody I brought. It was somebody Jermaine brought in.
One of the last.
Yeah, one last. Yeah, one. Somebody brought Brian brought in. Not my fault, Brian. You brought that guy in.
Yeah. But you've been bit quite a few times since.
Oh man, yeah. This is all only. It hurts. Yeah,
it's a holy ass, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So with this campaign now closing out Friday night, everybody, you got to get into this. It's affordable, and even if you go for and we don't recommend you go for the cheapest tier, but if you must. If you're not going to want to go for the weakest or the lowest tier on this anyway. No. Plus, it's got all these great add-ons.
Yeah, there's actually a ton of prints to add on. We got the virgin prints of all of the covers, and there's even holofoil prints. Mm-hmm. And Kara, did you? Are you guys going to do the special effect holofoil on the prints as well?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
I got a question from Indie Vote Radio here, and it is from Jamal. Jamal says, "Hi, guys. Since you're the basis for your character, have you had an issue where an artist or potential artist looking to work on the book or working on the book may have gotten out of line?" That's a good question. Have you ever had you ever cuss an artist out?
What do you mean? Like get out of line?
Like as an artist ever been like, hey, I'll draw a picture of you for your comic, but you gotta either send me massive amounts of money or send me something else that they have no business having.
I haven't had anyone get inappropriate with me for art. I think they kind of know better. I mean, you can look at the campaign and see the artists that we have on there. I have had a few people send me ads like, oh, these are my prices. And I look at their page and I'm like, what are you selling? Like if you're going to send people an ad, and try to sell your work that way, first of all, have a conversation. Don't just send them a price sheet. And then when I go to your page, have nothing but pictures of your damn cat. Show me your work.
Yeah, Eric.
And then
deep shot.
I think the hardest part, is when people, especially newer artists, can I have a place on your campaign? And I'm like, I don't want to tell them. How do you politely tell someone, no? Because we've got a quality standard here.
That's what you're telling me.
I'm sorry, but maybe you're just not ready yet. You're getting there, but you're just not ready yet. And, but then, that's me. I'm sorry, I can't take everyone's 5-year-old's, crayon drawing.
Yeah.
Or, you can just give it away for free. It's not giving it away for free because I still have to pay for that shit. I still have to pay to print that and ship that. And then you want some as your payment. So while I appreciate those, I can't take everyone's offer because it's not always worthwhile.
I talked to somebody once who told me that bad fan art of your character can be just as damning as you doing something bad. I was like, it's like, I wonder sometimes all those horrible pictures I drew of Wolverine as a kid, they would have been put on the internet.
They'll come back to haunt you at when you least expect it.
Don't worry, Varian. Marvel's doing plenty to tarnish that character's reputation.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's it.
I won't have it's funny too. I had a question. I didn't read it from last week's Indie Vote, but it said someone wrote in and said, what is everyone's political alignment on the show? I said, I'm a Marvel.
I'm a Marvel, but I'm currently at odds with my party. That's what I am. I tend not to go with the party with Marvel.
I'm a hardcore independent.
Yeah,
all the way.
Me too.
I don't agree with what Marvel's doing at all. I may have to vote against.
I'm leaning Dark Horse.
Okay.
All right, you're leaning Dark Horse. Yeah.
I just don't understand why DC can put out these amazing animated movies that have good storylines, good art, they're exciting, and then they go to put out a live action, and you're like, get the animated guys to do the live action ones, because
why does Marvel have the opposite problem? Their animation sucks.
That too. Yeah.
And it's funny too because they haven't done a single animation since they got bought by the granddaddy of animation. Well, they did the Big Hero 6.
Oh, they haven't done anything that's memorable.
Yeah.
The last memorable Marvel I can think of was the Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s.
Yeah, because
the Sony Spider-Man
that doesn't count,
into the Spider-Verse probably doesn't.
Yeah,
but that's an amazing piece of work.
Into the Spider-Verse, the Miles Morales one.
I should probably watch that at some point.
Oh, you would enjoy the hell out of it. You would. It deserved the Academy Award, I thought.
It's a pretty cool feature on the new game too, because once you pull that costume out, the game sets the frame rate differently. So the frame rate's like the animation. It's kind of I forget the frame rate, but it looks cool. It looks like you're playing the movie. Anyway, Fire Bitch guys, you have
Russ from Comic Book Black Belt says, I have never drawn my cat.
What, you don't love your cat?
Russ, if you want to sneak that in for the cover you're doing for Revolt right now, I won't complain.
Yeah.
Varian's just getting on to me. I don't draw my cat, but I do post cat pictures on Instagram once in a while because it gets views. It gets views.
Yeah, people love pet photos.
Yeah, they do. They do. I went through a thing with. I have a pug. Oh, look at that.
There we go.
Kitty.
Sitting tall.
I have a pug and a Shetland, the little Shetland.
Little Shetland pony?
Little Shetland sheepdog. Like a mini Lassie, basically. And
collie.
Yeah, but it looks like a collie, but it's just small. And he's his name is Marvel. And I put him out the house every time Marvel puts a bad book out. I put him out. Look what he's
outside most of the time now. Then
he's out of the house.
Outside though.
And then there's Pixie. She's a little.
Yeah.
Then he says, Under the Red Hood and Flashpoint Paradox are my all-time favorites from DC animation. Yeah, those are good ones. And now, and Randy admitted that was a very smart idea. They're actually packaging the trade paperbacks with the DVDs.
Yeah.
At Walmart and Best Buy for like $7-8. So they're so they put the trade paperback with the DVD, and you can get both of them, and you can see. You could read the paperback and then watch the movie and decide where they screw it up at.
Well, that also shows you they're not afraid to show you the source material when they do their animated.
They change.
They're that good.
Yeah, they change a bit.
They do.
Yeah. There's some stuff that was like wildly different in one of them, and I'm like, this sucks. Tell you what, though, they did drop the ball recently, Kara. They dropped the ball with that Killing Joke at DC.
Yep.
Oh, Killing Joke was I watched it and I thought I didn't like it because I was sick when I watched it. Turns out no one liked it. But now I gotta ask you, how far are we from maybe possibly seeing and you don't have to tell us, but how far are we from seeing Fire Bitch? I don't know, motion picture, web series.
So I get people saying you should do a live action, but she's like pretty much the only human. So to do a live action with all these aliens is just very costly. If we were to do anything, I think we'd want to go in animation. I think we're a little bit a ways from that. Like, you guys really want this? You really want like a movie or a series? You got to get me up into like the Lady Death numbers.
Yeah.
Cost a lot of money to do the animation.
I think it was Denny earlier asked about action figures.
Yeah, so action figures are definitely on our minds, but the thing is you have to remember that unless you're going to be able to unload a lot of them, like you got to be able to sell like 1,000. Well, I only have 515 backers. So you go give me 1,000 backers that want this action figure, and then maybe we can afford it. So it's really just about the financials. But we are looking into a lot of these different things.
Action figures would be cool. I like seeing independent books of action figures. And too, they're good talking pieces because someone will come to your house and ask you, what the heck is that? And you can tell them. And it's like going to like Randy's basement is full of like it's a museum. It's comics.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And if you tell him something, he'll be like, oh, I got this, and he'll go in the back of his like behind that like at the wall, that brown wall there. He'll go back there and he'll bring up a book like a librarian. Like, have you seen this? And it's like it's out of print, and it's like he'll have a whole story. It could be an indie book too, and it'll have a whole story behind it, and it'll be really interesting. But I get mad because the books are out of print, or for me to go look for them, they're usually really expensive on Amazon.
Well, I've been collecting for a long time, so plenty of stuff has had time to go out of print. That's all.
Yeah, Brian said it's the pug named DC.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I was going to throw that up there. Yeah,
if I would have been smart, because
that'll be the next one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Marv discovered that we call him Marv instead of Marvel, but yeah, Marvel discovered Pixie was a girl and was like, hey, and I'm like, stop! That's your sister. That's your sister. You can't do this. I'm a crazy dog parent. And like, that's your sister. You can't do that to her. What are you doing? But I should have named her DC because I could have made jokes about Marvel screwing DC. Denny says, I was worried about you when you were sick, Varian Grant. Yeah, man, I was worried too. I'm trying to get a clean bill of health for you. That'd be nice. Brian says, I just budget for double the cost of each action figure. If 500, you get your 1,000.
Yeah, but I don't have 500 people that want an action figure.
I don't know. I get what you mean, though. When you're budgeting these things out.
Yeah.
Like, Lola's getting ready to do her first book, and she's getting ready to, like, she's getting stuff in for it now. She's making sure her stretch goals, because her dream is that she's going to launch the book, but already, just all she has to do is, when it closes, make the
sure. Yeah, I did that. Have fun with that one.
Yeah.
Plan for this many stretch goals, and then you exceed it and have to order more, and now it costs you more because you had to go and reorder as opposed to just putting it in with your initial order.
Yeah, because you don't want to leave anybody out. Because I know some people do those limited tiers, like 1 of 50. Well, the problem with that is,
and the stretch goals though, like I had budgeted for, like, in my mind, I thought I would have less than 300 backers on my calendar campaign for 2019. And I ended up with like 400 or 500 or something. So yeah, I had bought a bunch of stuff and I had to reorder.
Now, we hear this from people that come on even in our chat, people will say this, and I see it I normally find it in the comments after the show was aired. There'll be some smart asses in there who'll say, well, I want to back the campaign, but I don't like the platform it's on. So any plan, you're on Kickstarter, any plans on going to Indiegogo, or why'd you choose Kickstarter?
So I've done Indiegogo. I did Indiegogo for years, and I found that they just don't give you as much promotion as you would like. I like that Indiegogo, you can put photos of your tiers in the tier level that you're purchasing. I love that. I don't like that it has to be a landscape style. I mean, we're dealing with comic books. So you got to make, your this fit into this, and it's awkward. So I don't like that. And so we're and then I've done the thing where morning, Trish.
Morning, Trish.
Trish.
I did the thing where you take your Kickstarter campaign and you roll it into Indiegogo afterwards, so they can see this is how much we made on Kickstarter. Now we're in demand, but then they don't promote it at all. So, like, all you people that are all like, "Oh, I only like Indiegogo," well, go buy my shit on Indiegogo because it's there, but you didn't. So I put it on Kickstarter where I'm getting tagged with, projects you love. I'm getting all this promotion from them, and that's very helpful. But I did make more money on Kickstarter than Indiegogo. I like that Indiegogo started with the add-ons and Kickstarter put that in beta. And I've seen a lot of campaigns have problems with that. And it's just things that I don't think that they caught. So it really just depends. With this campaign, I don't think I'm going to go to Indiegogo, but you can purchase through CrowdOx. So rather than going from Kickstarter to Indiegogo and essentially redoing this entire campaign because the graphic sizes are all different, so it's completely different sending it over there, and then having to have it go from Indiegogo to CrowdOx, because in Indiegogo, you put your address in right away and you pay right away. Mm-hmm. As with Kickstarter, you don't pay until the end, and then you put in your address during the after survey. So then when it goes to Indiegogo, you have a 10-day window that you can cancel. So if you fill that order, unless you lock it, they've got 10 days to cancel, which means that it takes 10 days to get it over to CrowdOx. So you see how the time is getting further and further and further out. You could run out of product in that time. You could, so many things could happen in that time. You just don't know. Maybe they never get the the CrowdOx survey. Maybe they don't want to fill out the CrowdOx survey because they already put in their information. So it's all just personal, whatever you want to do. But those are just some of the things that I've noticed that I've experienced. You will be able to purchase through the CrowdOx survey rather than having an Indiegogo as a middleman.
Yeah, I've seen one of the campaigns I just backed recently. They had sent out on the campaign, it's a second chance, and you click it and it takes you to CrowdOx, and you can. And one of the things that they had put on their page was that if you prefer to pay through PayPal, CrowdOx is the way to go. And I guess that it'll be paid immediately. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I used to only have like 2 or 3 things backed on Kickstarter, and then a lot of people start going this. So now I think I'm tied on both platforms for things I backed in between Indiegogo and Kickstarter. Randy, on the other hand, is I think it might be between Randy and Eric, who has the longest item that's out that hasn't been fulfilled yet. You backed like in 2000, somebody one of you has a book you backed in like 2018.
Yeah, mine's 2 years old.
Yeah, and he still hasn't got the book.
There's one I bought into. Yeah.
Hey, there's other projects that I've backed that I haven't seen anything from.
But there are a number out there that are longer. Yeah, but I didn't buy into those.
There's this 3D printer that was supposed to work with your iPhone that I bought, and that was 3.5 years ago, and I ain't seen nothing from that. So there's $100 gone.
Ugh.
Yeah, actually, the Lady Death Last Stand game was delayed, and it's been delayed almost 1.5 years. So it's just now finally getting in.
See, a delay I'm okay with, because especially if you're upfront with your backers. Hey, there's a delay. Yeah. This is going to take a while. But there have been people who have just vanished. Like, thanks for the money, losers. I'm out of here. There are those people, unfortunately, I see them. Some of them have the balls to come back to crowdfunding after, that grift. Yeah. So we're going to make sure that this book, I say that she's going to close out this at about 60,000. What do you guys think?
I hope so.
I don't see that. I think she's going to close a lot higher than that.
You think higher?
Yeah.
36 hours. I'll bet 65 right there in the middle of the road.
Now, Carrie got to go out and make it happen.
At least 65, maybe 70.
You got to go out and make it happen. I don't want to have to buy those 2 guys dinner. So you got. So
it's worth it. You can get issue 1 as an add-on. So
if we can keep it at 59, I'd be very appreciative. I'm just kidding. That way, they'll never let me live it down.
He'll eventually owe us dinner anyway.
Yeah. 515 backers. We need to get this up. It is a fantastic looking book, drawn well, and and Carol's one of her. She's been doing books and comic cons for a long time. She's not somebody who just came into comics and said, "Hey, I heard there's money over there." Yeah, because we all know there are some people who've done that.
And again, for our radio audience, that's Fire Bitch 2. You're going to want to look at that on Kickstarter. Take a good look at that campaign. There's not a single cover there that isn't hot. So,
Yeah,
Literally hot, flaming hot.
And then, like I said, if you jump in, you can get that video for Social Media Diva. Otherwise, you got to wait until it goes public later on.
Later on, no date. Just later.
So, well, later today.
Oh,
But so we actually have a CD that all backers are going to get with the soundtrack for this book, and we wrote some of the songs. We've got a few covers in there, but Alfred wrote a couple of the songs. We wrote a couple of the songs together. So yeah, you're going to get a full CD in a digipack, plus you'll get the digital as well for the album. So we have a soundtrack to our book.
See that soundtrack. See, I'm worried about that because people will see you did it, and then they're gonna go out and put out some crappy music too. They're gonna go out like I know people who do that. They'll be like, I'm gonna go drop a CD. Hold on, watch this, and it's gonna be crappy. We're gonna be inundated with CDs, and oh.
No, they should just hire Kara to do it. So
they could, but they won't. They because they're gonna figure they could do it too. They want to be. Everyone thinks they're the mass singer. Everyone, and they'll jump up there and they'll release these. Oh, it's gonna be horrible. But I do like. I did hear. Not Carrie, you were doing the music in the back of this video, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So see, that sounded good. Whereas I know there are people who can't hold a tune to save their life, who are going to, yeah, I'm one of them. I can't sing, and not without Autotune.
true that.
Everybody who uses Autotune can't sing without Autotune.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm.
Do you guys know the story behind Autotune?
No.
What happened?
Autotune was developed by an oil speculative company. What they did was they go out and they try to find where they think there are oil wells. So the software was originally developed to recognize harmonic signatures through sound wave, like sound penetrating radar and all this, so that they could tweak it so they could find and listen for the different sounds that would indicate like hollow cavities in the presence of oil.
Huh.
And the guy who invented that, just playing with it, tried it on his voice, and that's how it became the sensation that's kept 99% of the pop music industry in business.
Unfortunately.
It's like I may have stumbled upon something here. I'll tell you, I felt bad for T-Pain, man. All this time, and to find out he can actually sing, it's like, oh no, we gave this guy a crutch he didn't need. Now we're used to hearing the auto-tune. It's kind of rough. That's okay. Maybe I'll start auto-tuning. Trish says, it is an amazing book, so much that a friend reached out with money issues. I backed it for him and did ours. I may have missed the first part of that. Oh, yeah. I will say this: if you back a book,
Trish says working from home so I can watch. Don't have to go in. Yes, easy day watching you guys. Yeah, that was her previous. So it's an amazing book, so much that a friend reached out with money issues and I backed it for him. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
it was.
I'm telling you, man, you get these books, and then the cool thing is you can walk up to Kara at a con and say, when we get cons back, and say, hey, could you sign this? Or, could you re-sign it? Are the books signed by you at all?
I signed the cosplay ones.
Okay. All right. So, but a person could come to you at a Comic-Con and say, hey,
I'll sign anything. I've had people mail things back to me. I've had people request in their things to have things signed. Some people don't want them signed because they want them graded or whatever. So
sure. Yeah.
Isn't that weird? You can't, it's like it's harder to grade a signed book because you got to have the signature certified that someone was there. Whole thing with some Jim Lee books I got signed, and I'm like, really? You have to witness this, and then there's no like witnessing it and taking the book home. It's they witness it, and you have to go have it graded right then and there. Is that a cat attack? It is. There's a cat attack in the back.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Randy, question from Indie Vote Radio, and this is in regards to the history of independent comics. Why don't I'm sorry, I read that incorrectly. This is from Michael. He says, is there any place I can go to see just the values of indie comics, much like Backstreet? Backstreet. Is that what he said?
Overstreet.
Yeah. He put Backstreet. I'm like, oh, Backstreet.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that might be Backstreet now, but it was Overstreet. Overstreet used to run a comic price guide for many years, and even back then they weren't listing all of the indie books because there were just so many of them, and there were so many of them that were regional. It was very difficult for Overstreet to keep track of them. And it's the same thing that comes down today. I know my friend Dan Fogel does a Overstreet style price guide for underground books, and he is constantly adding to it. The thing's about the size of a phone book right now, and it's just constantly growing because he's still finding stuff from back in the 80s and 90s that he's adding, because a lot of these indie books were so very regional. You'd have somebody that would do the convention circuit, but usually only in the Midwest, who would move the book because he couldn't move the book on Diamond, or through Diamond. So it eventually somebody's going to catch up to that and start listing all of the stuff or almost all of the stuff. Right now, a handy guide or a resource, at least that I found, is Mile High, and their selling catalog. Sometimes they'll list things that you can't find elsewhere, and they'll attach a price to it. But as far as an indie price guide, it's outside of Fogel's, I don't know of anyone out there that's trying to go out and get that independent or alternative title and list them. It's Overstreet has always been really picky, and I had gone around with them for quite a while on individual titles. Well, you didn't list Tales from the Aniverse, but you list The Realm. From Arrow Comics, you list Dead World, but you don't list this title. You know, that kind of thing. So,
Lola sent to me, by the way. I don't know if it is breaking news. 1 second, I want to make sure I get the name right. Oops, why are my links all messing up now? Okay, well, where in the heck? Okay, hold on, I get it right. Promise I'm not doing Siegfried. From Siegfried and Roy's passed away today.
oh,
So that's both Siegfried and Roy within 8 months of each other.
well, you know, some couples are just attached to each other. That's all.
Yeah. Well, but
That's that close.
Roy was COVID. Siegfried had a tumor, but yeah, it's he passed away this morning.
Sorry to hear that.
So yeah, I remember having a DVD with them and watching them in their tiger.
Mm-hmm.
And always, I remember being a kid just saying, like, man, that tiger looks. I don't want to get near that tiger. And
I'll never forget The Simpsons, where Siegfried and Roy was in it, and they were in an airport, and the person was like, "I'm sorry, gentlemen, but your tiger was sent to St. Louis. I should send you to St. Louis. No, he's not worth it."
I remember there was this old Newgrounds clip called Yaffem. And I still say Yaffem to people. It's short for "you're a fucking moron." And he made a clip about
That'd make a good title for a book.
But he talked about when the tiger attacked, and he has them standing there, and the tiger attacked. He replaced the tiger for Tony the tiger. So, and this is really crude clip art where Tony just comes across the screen like, wow. And for me, at like 20 years old, you know, that was the funniest thing ever. I remember thinking that was hysterical. It's probably where I got my dark sense of humor from right there. Yeah, Eric.
Yes.
You're Dreaded Dinosaur on Webtoon. You've put out how many issues now? 5?
6 or 7. Yeah, or it might be 7 by now. But yeah, and I'm late on the next one because I've had some paying work come in, so I'm working on all of that and trying to prep for a new for my first con of the year, the free state of Florida down in Miami, Otaku Fest. So I'm working on that too. So things have slowed down on Dinosaur Man. Unfortunately, when you're doing your own independent project and you still got to pay bills, that's usually the thing that gets tabled first. But
Yep. Yeah.
I've got it all sketched out. I just haven't started doing the final art for the next chapter. So it's there egging me on. So I'll get it as soon as I can, because I got to keep telling this story, because I got to get the readers to a certain point before I do a crowdfunding book. Otherwise, people are going to be lost. And the whole part of doing Webtoon in the first place is to give people a free, easy, accessible place to look at the character, read the character, get an idea for the world that I'm building here. And if it's right for them, then I'm hoping they'll follow me on to Indiegogo.
Yeah, your book is free. It's on Webtoon, The Dreaded Dinosaur Man. And you've been doing that character for quite a while. And I remember when it was just an idea in your head.
Yeah, no, and that's another thing too, is like just what I was just saying, that you put that on the table. I did Dinosaur Man pretty consistently until I got the Roddy Piper Kilted Avenger comic book. I had to table Dinosaur Man, and it ended up tabling it for about 2 years before I came back to it, and I still haven't gotten back all the audience yet. So, there's consequences for every action, and so you pay the bills, you risk losing some of your fan base just falling off if you take too much time before you get back to your own stuff.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. I don't have any fans, so it's good. When you don't have fans, you don't have to worry about that. Now if you're a superstar like Kiara, then you have to worry about being nice to fans and everything.
We do have radio listeners. What's our number?
Right now we're on the radio. We are at Randy 72,800, which is pretty high for a Thursday morning.
It's very good. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody.
The cool thing about the radio app, and there's been times, I don't know if you guys remember this. There was a time a couple months ago where I thought about dropping the radio.
Yeah,
I was like, this is an expense I just can't.
Why do you want to do that? Yeah.
And I used to joke. I said, our YouTube numbers Facebook numbers but our radio numbers are high. And I remember saying I'm not going to do the radio, and one day not doing it, just doing the show live, like on YouTube and Facebook, and not being on the radio. And it dawned on me that show didn't go out to anybody. No one heard it except for the people who had the YouTube and the Facebook and Twitch. And I'm like, man, and then I got emails from people who write
from all over the world asking where the hell's the show?
Why weren't we on? And it kind of broke my heart. And then Randy and I would see, and I'm sure Eric's seen it by now too. I started getting what I thought were bots friending me, asking for friend requests
from all over the place.
Yeah. And I remember, from different places, like, who is this person? But I'm not gonna,
we still get those bots.
Yeah.
But we also get friend requests from people from all over the world doing some phenomenal artwork.
I like it when they message me on Facebook in their language.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I just send thumbs up. I hope I'm sending the right thumbs. I hope I'm sending the right thing. But
anytime they send a friend request, I go through their timeline and look. If they've got a lot of cartoons on there, they're a fan of comics, they're in.
And the biggest thing that we got, Randy, whether we like to accept it or not, is that remember when we got copyright struck by a company that didn't even own our material?
Yeah.
From Vietnam. They were like, that's ours. I'm like, what? Us talking?
Yeah.
Is ours, but I looked into that and I kept looking into it, and I found out that that's actually a good thing, because when that happens, it just goes to show you that reach that you're getting, and people come from over the radio and they find us on YouTube and they write into us like they're writing in now. And speaking, that's a good segue, because Indie Book Radio question. This is from Jameer. Jameer says, I like comics. I like comics, but I don't know if I can afford all of the good books I'm seeing in crowdfunding. Would anybody be able to put, I'm trying to read it because it's kind of pushed, the text is kind of pushed together. I swear I can read. Would anybody be able and willing to put their creations together, maybe in a compendium or a giant book for backers? Oh gosh, that's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, that would
really
take. Yeah, that's a crazy kind of cooperation that you're not seeing just yet. But
Yeah.
give it some time. And no, you quite frankly, nobody at this point, I don't think, can afford everything that pops up on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. You just have to go through and cherry pick the ones that you want to read. And there's lately, especially, there's been some of these campaigns where when they pop up and you look at the artwork, it's like, gotta buy in.
Right.
You know, you just have to.
I think the problem.
nobody's gonna like this, but buy double and sell one.
That too.
Because if you look at eBay on some of these books, they're insane. Like there's stuff that was out there before I even finished shipping all of my stuff last time. There's stuff that go up on eBay for books that are in Kickstarter that haven't even been received or even shipped out yet. So flip them.
Yeah.
You know, buy your reader copy, buy a nice one, and flip it.
Yeah.
You're gonna save on shipping, and you're gonna make your money back. Or
Just
more.
take that money and constantly flip it over in other campaigns. Yeah. Pretty soon you've got a business.
Yeah.
You have an eBay store and you're going crazy, you know, buying a lot of books.
And what he's asking, and the reason why I think you're going to be, waiting for a long time, Jameer, is because, like, trying to get all these different creators to, because here's what happens. Okay, I put my book in there. I put my, 40-page comic in there, 50-page comic in that book. That's 50 pages, first of all. And then, how many pages is Fire Bitch Care?
Fire Bitch is 36.
36 pages. So she puts her 36 pages in there. Randy puts 36 pages in there. And then we get some a-hole who comes along. He puts his 36 pages in. And he decides that everyone's come for his book, not ours. And he deserves more of the money. He doesn't like the placement in the book. There's all kind of things that can happen. And that's why I think unless you're working with a group of creators who really, really like each other, you're going to run into problems with that. At least you want to do other.
You're looking at a logistical nightmare. Yeah.
I actually think that we're seeing some good cross promotion going on. Kara has some cross promotion with Naughty Fairies Kickstarter. I do see indie creators working with each other to try to help do cross promotion, but nothing in terms of trying to get it together. I agree that it would be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah. Trish says the Advocate does a good job putting some stories together. And if you don't mind, PDFs are available for a few dollars. Yeah. Rob Anderson's Advocate magazine does do that. They take some creators and put them all in there. But on a regular basis to save money for overseas backers, man, I mean, again, just a night. I could see that ending poorly because, Jameer,
That's a crazy kind of cooperation that hasn't quite reached that level yet, Jameer, but give it a few years and see how some of these companies are going to start cooperating with each other. And you might see some ganging up. One thing that I found, and some people might not agree with the politics, but Splato Comics came out with Impossible Stars, which is a science fiction book that I was already going to buy in. But what really convinced me to buy into that is because they also included a Mike Baron Nexus comic, original comic along with that, and bundled it with that product, and just added to the flavor of the package all the more. So I'm looking forward to reading both of those books now. You never know. There's all sorts of people. It's literally the Wild West in crowdfunding. I'm sure Lisa will tell you that. And there's all sorts of people trying all sorts of interesting things. You just have to keep your eyes open and buy the ones that you can.
Seems like a good opportunity to plug Revolt.
Yeah. Well, we're putting together an anthology book where that's a collection of short stories, though, where we really want to showcase the people that have been on the program. Especially on a regular basis, because myself and Eric and Varian all want to contribute to this book and make it kind of a portfolio piece, so that when you pop up and listen to Indie Volt Radio, and somebody comes on, we can mention their story in Revolt. You can turn to that story and see the quality of work that they do. And we've had some amazing creators pass through the program we've only barely been around for a couple of years, but we've had an incredible array of talent run through, and from international at that. So you're going to see folks from the Netherlands and from Portugal, and as well as the United States running through that title. So
Hey, it's funny too, Randy. I'm gonna tell you, I reached out to somebody who might.
Thanks for that mention, Eric.
Yeah. To do something in the book. I'll talk to you about it later, though.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is interesting that you mentioned that the Revolt book, Eric, because that right there again, it's like the Advocate book is a way that you can get a lot of stories. But these are gonna the Revolt book is like, I think it's pretty much, it seemed like it's shaping up to be a lot of original stories.
Everything there, pretty much everything there will be brand new. Which original stuff,
which Randy's discovering to also be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah,
because
it's a problem. But right now we're looking at 96 pages plus a cover, and we're probably going to run 2 covers on that. So, and I just approved the pencils for the first cover today from Russ Leach from Black Belt Comics.
XTV Studio says the problem.
And it's sweet. It's really nice looking.
He says the problem is that too many creators only sell via crowdfunding.
Yeah.
The cost problem goes down as creators put books on other outlets. Miss it on Kickstarter, get it from online store, etc. Yeah, we had somebody write in that once said that they were leaving money out there by just relying on Kickstarter and indie crowdfunding though.
Yeah.
To put these books out there, and you gotta take your time and put them on different platforms. And if you got an online store, it does not hurt. The problem is online stores cost.
Well, and there's some people out there that are working real hard to start their own distribution company.
Woohoo!
So
that's me. Yeah, I forget about that all the time, man. Now I'm depressed. I see my other logo and I get depressed.
Yeah, and Joe McPhee, the I can never pronounce the name of his company. Joe McPhee is always big on promoting getting your book out there in front of as many different platforms and as many different areas as possible. That's only smart, because the more places you have your book available at, the more money potential that you have.
Yeah, I mean, Eric is one of his people I knew for online store, and he would have to pay every couple of Eric, was your store free?
The first one was because it was the Shopify, or not Shopify, the Store Envy one.
Okay.
But after that got taken down, I did the Square store, which bought Weebly, and so the Weebly store got integrated into Square. So that's technically what I'm using as a storefront now. Which, if you go to erichodson.com, ERIKHODSON, click on Buy Prints, you'll see what that store looks like.
Okay. And Kara, is there any places online besides any crowdfunding? Crowdfunding, did you get your books?
Yeah, we have an online store. We just built it ourselves, and it is we use WordPress, and we just built our own store. We used to use one of those Store Envy is what I use, and it's like, why they just started charging more and more and more, and started taking a bigger cut. So we finally wiped it out. We kept it up for a while and just didn't really update it. But yeah, we do have a store. We do have, like I said, we use CrowdOx after the campaigns. So we put extra stuff on CrowdOx, stuff that you're not going to get on the campaign itself. So special things that you can only get through CrowdOx. Other things we have our online store, Patreon, and then even on my group, I've got an AZ Power Girl, Kara Nicole fan club, and my office manager will go through my prints and just photograph, like, there's 1 of these left, 2 of these left, 3 of these left. It's a special sale. It's buy 5 get 1 free, whatever. And she'll post those up on Facebook on the group. So you can get special deals that way. You can message me.
Yeah, and the live auction sales.
Yeah, we do live selling shows, usually every other Friday.
See, No one wants my stuff through live auctions. I don't. I could start moving some of the stuff out. It's funny. I have clearance and stuff out. We used to do 11 by 17 prints of models because I learned. Well, I thought I was slick. I found the guys liked the booth girls, but they didn't so much like her comics. So I figured, I said, hey, I'm going to do flyers and put the booth girls on one side and on the other side of the comic. And there's a guy that came to the table once and he's looking at the flyers and we had like 3 booth girls on the flyers. And he says, hey, how much for these? And I'm like, oh, those are free. He's like, really? And he takes them, throws them in his bag and skips off happily. And it dawned on me. I'm like, shit, you should have told me they were like $1. If you would have told me they were like $1, he was going to pay you. He was reaching for his wallet. You had him and you let him go, but they're flyers. So then I thought about it. I said, wait a minute, I can charge. So we made 11 by 17 prints on the models. And they did move very slowly at conventions, if at all, but they did move at conventions. The problem is shipping them became a big hassle. Shipping an 11 by 17 print is because there's not many options besides at the time too, those big bubble mailers. But what we would do is it costs a little bit more, but I would go to you can go to Home Depot, you can get that processed cardboard. It's really hard and rigid. You stick 2 sheets of that in there, stick your prints in there, it won't bend. No matter how much. I mean, the postman would have to take it and put it across his knee and really bend it to get it to work. Are we getting a guest? Hello.
Hi, Alfred.
How's it going?
Good.
I think that as far as that is concerned, though, when it comes to shipping prints, though, it is more expensive to ship a print than it is a comic. Randy, you've shipped stuff before. You shipped a lot of comics.
I have, yes. Usually they've been in large square boxes out to distributors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you handle that? Was that rough?
Well, back then shipping was a lot easier. I haven't shipped anything out. The paper I had distributed. So
yeah,
the last 10 years, I haven't really shipped a lot of things out.
Yeah, see that. I know.
Gemini Mailers is definitely the way to go. But the one thing I did find that I just had happen yesterday, in fact, when you do ship out a box, make sure that is the only mailing label on the box. Because I had a client that I distributed some shirts to, and silly me never took the labels off the box. I probably grabbed the box at the last minute, and they shipped a box out, and I had it on my porch this morning. So I'm like, oh, that's great. The label, their label was on top of the box. My label was on the side of the box, and they didn't bother to X through the label before they shipped it. And UPS apparently turned it just right and said, oh, that's the barcode, and zap and send it to me.
Yeah. I've had that happen too.
Now I have to contact the client and go, hey, guess what? I was kind of silly and giving you a box with an open label on it, and you were kind of silly for shipping it out with an open label on it that could get confused. So you have to be real careful about that.
I will
make sure yours is the only shipping label on that box, or who knows where it'll go.
The little quick job I took at the UPS store taught me so much about shipping and packaging. Mm-hmm. In the short time that I've been able to take that, and I think Lola, is it safe to say that I'm pretty anal about shipping? Yeah. There you go. Yeah. She says yes.
Well, sometimes you have to be, though, and it's a good thing.
Yeah. It has to be shipped packaged a certain way. You see the Liberty books, how they go out. Mm-hmm. The Liberty distribution books go out bubble wrapped, bagged and boarded when to the store, to the retail.
So I have a question. To avoid getting fingerprints when you're bagging things to distribute, do you guys wear gloves?
We can.
Sometimes you have a black cover on your comic, you're definitely going to want to wear gloves when you pack them.
Yeah.
Or else you'll have, depending upon your printer, of course, you'll have smudges, fingerprints all over it. So
white fingerprints all over that black cover. I noticed, and I don't know if it was I thought it was just me at first. When I was a kid, I would get GamePro magazine, and one day I remember reading, and I'm holding the magazine. I move my hand, and there's a chunk of text missing. It's all on my finger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on here? And I looked through the whole book, and I could just rub my hand across the pages.
Oh,
And
jeez.
Some hardcore wet ink there.
yeah, and it was bad. And I'm noticing that again in some magazines. Now I may have something wrong with maybe I produce too much of a chemical that's eating the ink, but I'm noticing it happening again in some other magazines I got. Now they're free. These are some free magazines I get.
I think Marvel had a problem with that. In fact, they still might, because they decided to run with a more inexpensive printer.
That's the word.
Than what they had been running with. But back when I was doing the newspaper, I would always love to have a black cover on especially an ad on the back of the paper that was a dark color, because that would end up with that ink all over your hands when you're going around distributing it. So I had to stop like every hour or so and wash all the printing ink off the hands.
Pat Koala says,
and it would get all over. So yeah.
Pat Koala says anthologies will aid you an extra 3 years for every month of production.
That's possible, yes.
Yeah. There's the link, by the way, guys. Kara's got it in the chat if you want to go over there. Yep. You got just hours to go over there and make this happen. Just hours. And you listen, you go over there and get the book. When this blows up, and it already is, showing signs are going to do nothing but get bigger. You'll be able to say, I backed that when it was just on Kickstarter. You know, now
extra things like there, you get all the stretch goals, you get all the extra cover options.
Yeah. You know what? I thought I got a book recently that had a ton of stuff with it. They just threw a ton of stuff in there. And I'm like, what is all this crap? What is all this crap? I don't want this crap. And because it wasn't. I got another book that had a ton of stuff, but I wanted that stuff. But as I read the book, I'm like, oh, that's this character ended up being my favorite character in the book, and I got a cool sticker of him. Or so it was really cool to have that. But I did order. Everyone knows I'm a Michael Turner mark. And
that's why I was
I'm Michael Turner mark. And Randy was coming. Randy was watching the campaign.
Well, he talks to me over StreamYard. You got to see this campaign. This campaign's got everything. Look at this. Look at this. I said, door hangers. You really want a door hanger, buddy?
Yeah, it had 3 door hangers, and I got them. And I'm like, yes. And he's like, okay,
you got them.
Yeah. And the weird thing about it was they did another thing they did in that campaign. They okay. They went. I want you guys to understand too. I'm him and Han about it, but I'm the young. Between Eric and Randy and myself, I'm the youngest, and I'm not the healthiest though. But I've told them that if they happen to go before me, I'm going to raid their art stuff and make sure it gets sold to benefit me. And so I thought, but what they did was they went through Michael Turner's sketchbooks. And they were selling the roughs. And Randy pointed out to me, Randy said, those aren't sketches, Varian. Those are roughs. But I love Michael Turner, and I wanted one of those roughs. I'm like, I gotta have it.
And if you loved Michael Turner, you bought one. It was framed and numbered with a certificate on it, but it was a sketchbook page. Yeah. Somebody had taken out and framed, and put a certificate underneath, and sold for a large chunk of money. But
since like $2,000-3,000, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start stealing Randy and Eric's sketchbooks. I'm around them enough, I can totally steal the sketchbooks, and they'll never know until they're gone. Having said that, I want to read 2 more comments here before we wrap up. Pat Koala says, with comics and art, you have to be anal with shipping, especially short print runs. People want to slap those books so often, and they don't get a 9.8. They get so mad.
They do. You have to be in.
Brian K. Moore talking about an era I cannot understand.
Hey, Brian, thanks for listening.
He says, back in the late 60s and 70s, wow.
you could handle some Marvel and DC comics and wind up with the ink on your fingertips. That's why I usually set my comics on a flat surface when I read them. Yeah. We're going to have Brian on Sunday, I believe. He's scheduled to be on if he wakes up. If his alarm goes off, we'll have him on Sunday's edition of Sunday Funnies at 9 a.m.
I have a question for Brian. I don't believe him. When he was young and reading comics, they weren't using ink. They chiseled the art and slate pad. He's lying. He's trying to make himself appear to be younger. Moving on from his question. Looking forward to doing the review of issue 1 and 2. He's gonna cuss me out in a minute. I know it. It's good. It's gonna be a personal cuss out too. I already set my alarm, Randy. Not anymore. He's gonna cancel.
Now, can we go back?
I appreciate you. I do.
Can we go back to Pat's comment over here about the 9.8? It's not just shipping. This is also your printer. If you call around random printers and you try to get comic book stuff, oh, we can print that. They don't understand sizing. They don't understand all of these things that a true comic book printer, they know what to look for. They know if you're out of your bounds. They're not just going to print it and throw it at you. And like you can order overseas, you can order wherever and get it cheap. But are you going to get that quality? There's a reason that these books cost what they cost. These are boutique books. These are not just your $5 off the shelf, comic book that's been printed with a self cover on very thin paper. These are very high quality pieces. Like these holofoil covers, they're not cheap. They're not easy. If you don't score your sides before you fold them, then they won't, then they can crack. All of these things that when you're a collector that you look at. So it's not just about shipping. It's not just about printing. It's about everything. This is an entire process that has a unique art form of its own.
Brian K. Moore says, "Ooh, boutique books, right? They're not for future exploitation."
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I used to call them gourmet books. Remember that? Yeah.
Gourmet.
Well, your boy Zach, he said artisanal, right?
Yes.
Artisanal comics.
See, I like artisanal too, but when I break it down, my mind sees artisanal. And I'm like, oh,
that's a different type of book.
Yeah. You're like artisanal comics. What? I'm like, I'll back this. I'm gonna back this immediately. Brian K. Morris also tells me to get the hell off his lawn. Guys, where we're gonna wrap up. But Lisa, where can people find you at? They want to launch their campaign, need some help with it. Where can they find you?
I am on Facebook under Malone Management and under Lisa Malone. My last name spelled Melone. You can reach me there.
And Lisa, would you be open to someone contacts from Indie Vault? Maybe they've already done a campaign, and they said, "Hey, Lisa, I don't. My last campaign was okay, but could you look at it and see what I could have done better? Would you be willing to do that?"
Oh, absolutely. I do free consults, 1-hour consults, just to talk to people about their projects and to see what they're doing. And I do take a look at what they've done in the past to see how they can improve for the future.
That's cool. So everyone contact Lisa immediately with your campaigns. I've seen some of your campaigns out there, fellas. They're lacking. We gotta say it.
Yeah, I have graphic capability. That is one of the biggest things that I'm finding creators are needing is graphic design. You guys make beautiful art, but you don't have the graphic design capabilities sometimes. And in order to be able to effectively display your crowdfunding, you need to have those images and make it so that you're not scrolling forever.
Mm-hmm. And to know when to stop with the images too, because I've seen some campaigns that go on forever.
Right.
Back my book. Here's every page.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Kara, where can people find you at and stalk you on the internet where it's safe and legal?
Safe. You can find me at on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as AZ Power Girl, like Arizona Power Girl. And I'm on YouTube at VAZ Power Girl. You can find me, my store, 183degreestudio.com, azpowergirl.com. I'm everywhere. If you can't find me, then you didn't even look at your phone. You're not gonna find me by just looking around your house. You gotta take a little bit more effort than that. But yes, I'm everywhere. AZ Power Girl. You can find me on Kickstarter as AZ Power Girl as well. You can find me as Kara Nicole on my personal page. So that's fun.
And but if you watch the show, you go back and watch it. Kara's on a road. So that's like
Woo!
most you get to have her in your house. It's like, look, she's in the row. She's comfortable. She's laid back. I do have a question though. I
Yes, I take it underneath here, okay?
Hey, there we go. I have a question for you. Why is it that it seems to me all of the really good cosplayers lately are coming from Arizona? There's an Iron Man you guys
They
got.
always come from Arizona.
Where's the Iron Man you guys got who looks like Robert Downey? I'm like,
Yeah, you're talking about Tony. Yeah,
I'm like, what the heck?
Tony used to be a Superman cosplayer when I met him.
Mm-hmm.
And he wore a costume that his grandma made him. And he just worked and moved and changed. And now he's like working with children's hospitals and stuff. And oh yeah, Arizona is like a hot spot for Negri comes from Arizona.
Yeah. I'll tell you this though. I read a story before I move on. Before I toss the awkwardness to Eric. I read a story. They had a cosplayer in Seattle, an Iron Man cosplayer, go to a ward for sick children, and he walked in the ward just to cheer the children up, and instantly 3 of them started crying because they had seen Endgame, and Iron Man should be there, and the kids are crying, and now they've had a bad day because Iron Man, who's dead, has now walked into a children's hospital, and it's like, oh, that's messed up. Like, guys, did anybody think about that? Like, they need a Make-A-Wish person. Like, I'll do it. Don't send Iron Man in there. He's dead this year. You send Iron Man in there. Randy's brother does he's done some hospital visits.
Yeah, he makes Star Wars droids.
And he wrote this story about this little girl. He had the droid roll in there, and the little girl was like, she'd been unresponsive, and he had the R2 unit bump up against her bed a few times. And she turned her head, and she started playing with the R2, and she'd been irresponsive. She was really sick. And he says he's behind the door, just, kind of, sobbing. And I'm sitting there, I'm reading it, and I'm crying, and I'm like,
oh no,
I want off this page.
Yeah, the mom ran over to him, said that's the most reaction they've gotten out of her since she went, since she was hospitalized, and she was crying too. So yeah.
But just keep in mind,
amazing,
when you're cosplaying these characters after the kids seen the movie, because Tony's look, you couldn't have walked in as Optimus Prime after I seen Transformers movie, the anime movie as a kid. I was, although the same could be said for Iron Man. I seen that in the theaters, and my wife looked over at me and she's, "Are you serious?" And I'm over there.
Yeah. Are you crying?
Yeah. No, it's allergy. Somebody's wearing really hard cologne in here. No, I was crying. I came home and boo-hooed. Dreaded Dinosaur. Where can they find you?
How dare you tell a sob story and then hand it off to me? You can get off my lawn.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry for the stop. Sorry, but listen. We can do. Let's take the summer. We're gonna get some. You're gonna get your 3D printer. We're gonna get some of that foam. We're gonna make a big dinosaur man cosplay. I can't wear. I'm not built.
I got ideas for a cosplay, but that's a little bit down the line. I am gonna probably do an action figure though. I do have the capability to make my own toys with my 3D printer, but it's going to be small scale. So like, if I get it done for my Indiegogo, there'll be like 10 available. Come on a card, look all nice and chic. That's about my production level for that. So
we'll do the Dinosaur Man cosplay. We'll get Kara in a cosplay as Telexis. It'll work.
One of the things I'm looking forward to, because I know my brand is solid enough to be that popular, and I'm looking forward to seeing people cosplaying and doing fan art and stuff like that. It's just got to get eyeballs on it, so I just got to keep pushing it until it happens.
And where can they find you at, sir?
Well, you can go to erichodson.com, ERIKHODSON, and help me pay the rent by buying some prints. You can find me at Dreaded Dinosaur on all the social medias. Just got minds.com up and running. And, of course, Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, where I'm posting some Clip Studio Paint time lapses of some of my anime art. I'm doing some new anime art there, so I just posted a couple of them today. And then, so those are the places you can find me. Also, read Dreaded Dinosaur Man on Webtoon, and then join me next Monday here on Indie Volt Live, Indie Volt Radio for It Came From Webtoon, where my buddy Michael Oden and I will be presenting another Webtoon that we think you should read.
Very good, very good. And then Randy and I'll be back here with you Tuesday morning. Check us out, Indie Volt TV.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, right? Yeah. That's like Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, check out Indie Volt TV. It's going to be updated today. It should be in a couple hours. Check it out. There'll be a new logo and everything up there. I'm excited about it. It's got independent movies up there from the music videos, some long form videos. Whenever YouTube tells me I can't put a video up, I put it on Roku where they have no power here. And make sure that you guys check it out. It's totally free on Roku enabled devices and televisions. Also, check out Indie Volt Radio on Google Play. If you have an iPhone, download the streaming app and listen to it on there. You type in Indie Volt Radio. You can also ask your Amazon Alexa device to play Indie Volt Radio for you, and she'll do that. As always, you got a question? Send it in to IndieVoltLive at IndieVolt.com. Please include IndieVolt Live in the subject and keep those emails to 90 words or less. Usually I put them on a little card and everything so you can read them. We can read them on air and make fun of you. And as Randy always says, Randy, you ready for it?
Almost. Yeah. Our feedback will be better because of your setback. Hashtag get an education. Hashtag IndieVolt.
That's it for Randy. Where can I find you at?
You can find me on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on the Twitter under Randy Zimm. I also do the Zimm Geek channel where we do cartoon instructionals and some short videos where we're talking about the comic industry at ZIMMGEEK. And then also Sunday morning here on the Indie Volt Radio Network is Sunday Funnies at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about the more lighthearted and whimsical side of comics, the real entertaining side of comics. And this week we're planning on Brian K. Morris as being a special guest, and maybe one or two other old farts if we can find them. We'll all sit around and talk about the great comics from yesteryear.
Old guys. Sorry.
I believe our conversations have been really good in the past. And if you watched or listened to last Sunday's program, we ended up going all over the spectrum, all over the place with topics. So it was pretty crazy.
It's old guys.
Old farts wandering. Yeah.
My newsprint and everything. Guys, like we found online, Varian Grant on all the social medias, KYD_V on Twitter. Last Call Comics, my publishing company, looking to get your independent comic distributed into comic book stores, Liberty Distribution, Liberty Entertainment Distribution, LEDG.US is where
hang on. You never use the card. You've got the card and you never use it. Here you go.
No, I never use the card. There she is. There's Bill. And Liberty Entertainment Distribution, LEDG. It would have been Liberty Independent Entertainment Distribution, but those initials are lied. And I was like, I don't think that's
not good.
Yeah. So LEDG.US. Check us out. I'll be happy to get your comics in. Until then, but
LEDG.US. So if you're a retailer out there looking for good independent books, go to that site, get a hold of Varian.
Yep.
He's already got quite a few accounts lining up. He's got a catalog in the works. It's going to be big and growing. So.
And so you guys, we're going to get out of here. Thanks for joining us this morning. Go over there and get yourself the Fire Bitch comic immediately. It's over on Kickstarter.
Kickstarter under Fire Bitch 2. Look it up. It's good.
And it ends Friday. You don't have much time.
And you have less than 36 hours. That clock is ticking, folks.
Get the high package. Don't worry about your bills. Don't worry about it. You're getting $2,000 anyway. I don't know if you heard. You're getting $2,000 anyway.
You probably will now. Just pop up in your account.
Everyone have a great day. We'll see you back here soon.
Take care, everybody. Stay safe.
Good night.
See you.
Good morning.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Wherever
Thanks for listening.
you are.
Yeah.